Hello, it's Binni here. In partnership with Phillip Futures, I'm sharing with you the trades I'm looking this week. If you'd like me to discuss any trades of particular interest to you, reach out to me via Twitter or Telegram. Scan the QR code here if you'd like to try some demo charting or demo trading on what I'm discussing today. Let's get started. Last week, Tuesday, Beijing said it would strengthen supervision of all Chinese firms listed offshore and step up its oversight on the flood of Chinese listings, including IPOs in the US. How can we tap on this piece of news for our trading? I'll be looking at Hong Kong Exchange later on the assumption that if Chinese IPOs might consider Hong Kong Exchange as an alternative to the US exchanges. Dollar index is near to a downscoping trend line, acting as a resistance. It is also near to this year April high. How will US related pairs move with dollar index potentially near to a resistance? US crude oil futures is near to a historical high at around 76. Will oil continue to break higher or see some supply forming around this level? We are going to investigate US oil later. This is the chart of Hong Kong Exchange. If you like to have a list of the Hong Kong listed CFDs in Phillip Futures, just go to the Market Watch. Then you can browse through. There's a whole list of the Hong Kong listed CFDs being offered by Phillip Futures. Just click on it and then drag it to the chart, and you're going to find the Hong Kong Exchange being shown here. Right now, what we have here, there is a zone of resistance right now, and that's around the price of 500 to 505, and that's where last week the market is trading off this resistance. Of course, what I have is a trend line here, so this trend line seems to be providing a support to Hong Kong Exchange. Right, from the weekly chart, we might be trading into a range, into a tight range, and of course, if price is to close above the resistance, we might assume that price can continue to move up. Otherwise, if it's below the trend line, it might be heading down. Now, for now, I'm assuming that the price movement is going to be very strong. There is another sub-support coming inside here. So this is the sub-support here. That's around 476. Let's take a look into the day chart. 476 as a possible support. We might want to monitor into this level here. So this is the 476 level to see whether there's any support coming inside here to continue to form a higher low. So because this is a high, so this is a low, and price is making a higher high now. We're going to see whether the 476 is going to make a support, thus a higher low. In my earlier video, I have highlighted into a potential bullishness in gold. To note, what I've said was this was a resistance, and if gold can close above it, then we're going to see some bullish movement here. Alright, so indeed that gold traded higher. But what's the bigger picture in gold right now? Into the weekly chart, the place that gold stopped around this place here a few weeks ago was actually a horizontal support level followed by some resistance level here. But let's focus on the potential chart pattern that we might be seeing here. As I highlighted earlier, we might be having an inverted head and shoulder, and if this is really at the bottom of an inverted head and shoulder, so therefore this bullishness might see a further rise into the high level around 1,900. For now, let's take a look into H4 chart. So this is the H4 chart which I have drawn. We are seeing a potential reversal here. What I mean is that if we assume that this is a high, then at the trading price here, then it is making a higher high. Now, if we expect that this is a true reversal, then price might be heading down and it needs to find some support which is higher than this previous low. Thus, we're going to have a higher low, right? I'm expecting potentially some support to be found around the region of 170. So that's the region I'm suspecting that gold might see a support. But again, that if gold is going to see a higher support near to 1,800, it's going to be even better. Therefore, look out for a support at gold at 1,800, and if gold should continue to move higher, it must close above the top of the equidistance line that I'm drawing here. The estimated value of this equidistance channel high is about 1,820. For now, I'm taking a little bit of a bullish stand in gold. However, I need to see that higher low being formed. In the earlier section, I've talked about oil coming into a historical resistance, and that's around 76.80. Indeed, we saw some bearish reaction. Recently, oil had a drop. Right, so the US oil came down, but it hit into a support because it is still on the overall trend, still an uptrend here. Right, but few things that's interesting if we can observe the price movement in the lower time frame. So let's head to the H4 chart. I'm right now in the H4 chart. Let's take a bigger view right now. If you can check in the highs and the low, the recent low that's being formed here is actually a lower low than previous low. So that's a lower low. Now, in order to play our trade a trend reversal, we need to make sure that the high that's being formed here is a lower high. So what are the ways to find that lower high? Few things we can use some technical levels to help us. Number one, let's take a look at the recent highs and low. I find that at this moment here, there is a zone of a possible resistance coming in that's given by the highs and the lows that give us the interchanged resistance at this moment. Right. The second way of identifying a possible resistance is to look into the retracement level at this point here. Because there was a previous down, the retracement seems to be at a 62%, as you can see here. So that's a 62% retracement level. Of course, we're gonna need some reaction, that means some bearish reaction to trade that. If you're gonna find bearish candlestick or some bearish chart pattern, that means for price to move down, we might be able to trade this reversal trade, that is to consider taking a bearish stand into the 74 suspected resistance. That means I'm suspecting that around the 74 there could be a resistance level. Now if price doesn't stop here, then the next resistance level might be around the 75 level here. Alright, look out for some bearish reaction to trade that reversal trade. First would be a support towards the 70 region, and if this 70 region is broken, I might expect that the next support that's going to come in will be around the 68 level here.